Hey guys, this is my first time trying to make this type of video, so I hope you guys enjoy. I originally found this game on the Switch, but it really didn't play that well over there, so I looked for a PC version of the game. Um, Sadly, the PC version does not have an EU server, so I had to play on the US one. That's why there's a lot of lag spikes in the video, so I hope you guys forgive me for that. Quick little side note though, for those of you who are looking for this game on PC, be sure when you Google it to add online at the end of Onigiri, otherwise you'll be hit with dozens of images of rice balls and how to make rice ball video tutorials, or how you Americans like to call them, donuts.
These donuts are great!
Rice Balls Online is an action MMORPG published by Cyberstep. And the reason you haven't heard about them is because they're not that well known. Why the fuck did I even write this? Fuck my life. Moving on. Character creation. It's fairly basic. You get to choose between a number of anime faces and a bunch of hairstyles. You get to customize the color of your eyes, the color of your hair, and design your starting outfit. Once you hit create, you'll see that there's no class to choose from. You choose the type of character you want to be. Now once you're done creating your character, you get introduced to the story. The story is set in ancient Japan, where monsters and spirits are real and the gods are real, and there's been some ancient evil sealed away by the sun goddess, and now it's reawakened. That's the story. During our tutorial mission, we meet Lady Shizuka, and after we save her, she decides to join our party. Now, this is where the game introduces the companion system. Now, a companion system, we've seen it done in MMOs before. If you play SWTOR, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Online, they did it as well. And it's honestly fairly similar to that. And you can interact with your companions, you can give them presents, but they also have a function in your party, right? For example, Lady Shizuka is responsible for identifying weapons that you find in dungeons, while let's say another character, Miroku, he's a merchant, right? And you pick these characters up while doing the main story. You don't have to get out of your way. You just do the main story and you will be able to meet each one of their characters. There's 8 main ones in total, I believe. But because of the setting of the story, the game takes a lot of liberties with it, right? It's not a story that you should take too seriously. For example, we do meet up with, famous Japanese history characters, right? Like, we meet up with Miyamoto Musashi, right? Oda Nobunaga, who are all teenage anime girls, because of course they are, right? But they also dip their fingers in fiction. We met Lancelot, who's a gun sword wielding warrior female, because of course, right? Don't question, never question. Now the world itself, it's mostly instanced, right? You're gonna have large areas that are meant to exist as a place where
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
The game is not an open world MMORPG. It's mostly instanced. You obviously have opened instance areas where you can see other players run around and killing mobs and stuff like that, but most of the times you'll be doing a lot of dungeon grinding, and that's where the first big issue that I have with the game comes to light. So early on, you meet this companion called Miroku, who joins your party. He's part of the system, obviously. He's a merchant. Now, he sells weapons. which is fine, right? It's whatever. However, he sells weapons that are available for equipping at level 1, and they do like 2000 damage. And they're heirlooms. If you've played World of Warcraft, heirlooms, they're weapons that are supposed to level with you, but the way they work, they do not level up each level.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Once you hit level 51, they get plus 4000 attack. Once you hit level 70, they get another 2000. And if you pick them up at level 1, they already do 2500 damage. And that alone is enough to just one-shot the early bosses you meet. I actually had to switch off those weapons and had to use shitty weapons that I found in the world because, well, those weapons were broken. They broke the game for me. That's the biggest no-no that I have with the game. Otherwise, graphics, obviously the graphics are fairly dated. You've probably seen in this video how dated they are, but the game does shine when it comes to its art style. Now, its art style is what kept me playing, because honestly the bosses are really freaking interesting. You go from the first boss that you meet, like a dragon, a 6-headed dragon. It's like, wow, very original, right? And then you meet a giant skeleton. It's like, it's a skeleton. It works. And then the third boss you meet, it's a giant egg with a mustache smoking a fucking pipe. Like, what the fuck? Who came up with this? I was like, holy shit, is this guy for real? And out in the world, I saw this random monster. It was just a wall with eyes. And honestly, that got me playing the game, because I really think didn't care about the story. There's a lot of voice acting in it, which is a plus. However, the story isn't the driving factor of this game. For me, I really wanted to see what the next big boss was, right? Like, I could not wait to see what crazy creation the artists for this game had planned. And honestly, I'm level 76 right now, which isn't really anywhere that close to, the level cap. But I've talked to some players, which brings me to my next point, the community. The community of the game is fairly quiet. Most of them are obviously anime fans, people who enjoy anime. But I've not met any. I've not been
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
put in any situation where I had to group, right? I've never been placed in a situation where I had to group with people. There was no boss that was that hard, right? If you buy the weapons off of the NPC, like I said before, it makes the dungeons obsolete. Like, you will run the dungeons on the highest difficulty and you will have no problem clearing it alone, which was the biggest problem that I had. I have
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
no interaction with anyone while playing. That wasn't forced by me, The game never placed me in a situation where I had to group, which sucks, because it is an MMO and you're supposed to group with people to clear the harder content. But no hard content was presented to me, so I had no reason to group. And most of the other players also used the same weapons that I was using, because why wouldn't you? If the game gives you those weapons, and they do, for fairly cheap, like 3000 ryo, which is the currency the game uses, whatever. You can get that in 20 seconds, like, seriously though. You can get the money to buy a full set of those weapons really quickly. And it just makes the whole game obsolete. And it sucks, because the community of the game is fairly quiet. Honestly, if you go to the main city, the trade chat is active, and the game lacks an action house. So the way trading works is people set up shops, and you can click on them, and they have to stay logged in with their characters and try to sell their stuff. It's a pretty outdated way of doing it, but I honestly like it because I like going to the main city and just see merchants around, you know, trying to sell you their swords and stuff. Um, let's talk about cash. It's honestly, even bringing up cash, it's pointless because it's so basic and we've seen it so many times before in this way. It's fucking the most basic cash shop. You can probably pause the video here and consider it the end because you already know what's in the cash shop. EXP booth, bags, and sadly they do sell some gear, but it's leveling gear. It's not even close to being good enough if you compare it to the gear you get later on. Like, I have gear right now that's better than what they sell in the cash shop. Like, seriously. Now, while editing this, I saw I missed a few things. First of all, dungeon drops. You can get items with different rarity qualities, ranging from bronze to gold. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, but you know, just in case. And other than that, guys, there's not that much left to tell. It's a pretty neat game that has this, you know, this feeling where you want to keep coming back to it. It's not a great game or anything like that, but it has something that just draws me back in all the time, right? If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry if my English sucked, and you know, hope to see you in the next one.